Hello and welcome to the Ram Show. I gotta stop doing that. I always cut what I mean to fade. You'd think by now I would know which buttons do what, but I apparently still don't. Anyway, so it is Sunday, February 11th, 2018. Back for some more fun excitement on the Ram Show this week. We'll go ahead and turn Zach's audio on so you can all hear him. Hi, Zach.
Hi.
How's it going this week?
Huh?
I said, how is it? Are you having trouble hearing me?
No?
Okay. I said, how's it going this week?
No, I can hear you. I'm fine.
Oh, okay. Anything exciting? I'm guessing not.
No.
So, before we get into tech topics, because we usually banter anyways, so I have a question for you. So, I was watching some shows on Netflix, things like that, and what I do from time to time, I like to look up, certain actors, things like that. So I happened to look up one of the actors in one of the shows that I was watching, and they've got a YouTube channel, and they took an old HP OEM computer and put some new parts in it, but they titled the video "Building My First Computer." So here's my question.
What?
They titled the video "Building My First Computer." But here's my question. If you're taking an original system and upgrading it, is that technically building a new system?
No.
Oh, wait, never mind. I take that back. I forgot. Okay, so no. There was a new motherboard, new processor. So, okay, basically what they did was they took the old case and, built it. So, it's like a sleeper, basically.
Oh, well, that's fine.
I take that back then. I take that back. Okay, anyway, I wanted to clear up that real quick. There is a difference between building and upgrading, which hopefully I'll be building a new one soon. So, I'm excited about that. It's amazing to look at my bank account now and actually have money. It's a weird phenomenon.
It's always helpful.
Oh, you know what else is weird? So, with my new position, this is the first job I've ever had where I get paid vacation. So, I just requested a few days off, 3 days off. So, I get 2 weeks of paid vacation, which is awesome. So, I still have a whole entire week left in there, and then since I'm only taking 3 days off, so I have a week and 2 days, and then I have 2 comp days as well for working on the holidays, which is awesome. So I have all that as well to be able to play around with. So it's gonna be weird to be able to go on vacation and still get paid. So weird
Probably.
phenomenon. So hey, you're getting ready to graduate. Have you figured out what you're doing after you graduate?
Not really.
You might want to start thinking about that. You
Well,
only have a few months.
I still haven't figured anything out, though.
Well, you'll either figure it out or you won't figure it out, I guess. You're smart. You'll figure it out. So, Joe is on with us. There is apparently one other person on with us this week. I don't know who the other person is. Feel free to say hello. Anyway, so I guess we have some live people with us. So, with that being said, why don't we get into some tech topics? How's that sound?
Sure.
So, by the way, you're going to hate me for this, but so I assigned Zach a task this week of coming up with 2 topics. Yeah, I'm gonna make that a regular thing for you, Zach.
Didn't even take very long, though. I don't care.
Okay. Well, we're both in agreement then. So that helped me out tremendously this week because I felt like I had.
Because you don't seem to look elsewhere for topics, so I just have to look in some place that you didn't look.
I generally
can immediately come up with something.
See, I generally look in 3 places, but I like that. See, you have the more hardware-sided mind versus me, where I'm more consumer-sided minded.
Oh, really?
So, well, kind of.
Kind of, but not really. I don't know. Whatever.
So, anyway, so that really helps out. Like, I felt like I had a lot more time to produce the show this week, and I didn't feel as behind, despite the fact that we started the show like 6 minutes late, but oh well. Nobody cares. So, anyway. All right, so here we go. Lenovo has been a company that's been around for a little bit. How long has Lenovo been around for? Do you know?
You're asking the wrong person. I don't have a clue.
Let's ask Mr. Google. Anyway. So, Zach, why don't you go ahead and tell everyone while I'm looking this up. So, Lenovo is... Well... Okay, give a little bit of somewhat history-ish on Lenovo. That you can.
What?
Oh, goodness. I wanted you to give, like, a little background on Lenovo.
You want me to? Well, I don't know anything about them. Sorry.
Okay, fine.
They're just another computer, another OEM to me. That's all I know. Really.
Okay, well, Lenovo was originally... well, actually, I don't know if it was, like, originally its own company, but I know that it is now part of IBM. It's like the consumer side of IBM. Because IBM still exists, they just...
Oh, that's why, okay. You know, I thought they just bought out the ThinkPad brand, because I could swear that ThinkPads were IBM, but I guess they are also IBM. That makes sense.
Well, okay, so it's a Chinese multinational technology company with headquarters in Beijing, China, as well as Morrisville, North Carolina. Okay, then.
Wherever that is.
Well, North Carolina. They design, develop, and manufacture and sell personal computers, tablet computers, smartphones. Really? I didn't know that one. Workstation servers, electronic storage devices, IT management software, and smart televisions. I did not know that one either. You know what's weird? We have, like, because we're super cheap around our TV station, but we have, like, have you ever seen an HP branded TV?
Nope.
Yep, we have an HP branded
Never.
TV. An HP branded TV.
Nah. But I guess it wouldn't be a huge stretch. I mean, you can find an HP branded monitor. My TV's just a bigger monitor, if really.
Yeah, you're right. So get this. Lenovo is the world's largest personal computer vendor by unit sales since 2013. I didn't know that. I would have thought it would have been something like... Well, take your guess first. Like, if you hadn't known that, what would you say?
Well, I suppose that probably... maybe they sell to like big companies.
That could be.
And that could be where a lot of their unit sales comes from.
That could be.
Which is, you know, maybe less visible to you or me.
I think, like, at one point, like, Compaq, like, provided... Like, Compaq built computers for HP, or, like, Compaq was, like, a part of HP or something? Like, they were owned together?
That sounds like something I would have... Yeah, I could see that.
I think... I could be wrong on that.
Like, what am I saying? I'm saying that I've seen those two brands together.
All right. So Lenovo markets the ThinkPad line of notebook computers, IdeaPad, Yoga, and Legion, and lines of notebook laptops. Lines of notebook laptops. Okay. And the Idea Center and Think Center lines of desktops. See, I have an Idea Center. That's what I have. Because I have a Lenovo computer sitting down here. So they have operations in more than 60 countries, and it sells products in around 160 countries. Let's see here. History, IPO sending off. Okay. Oh, Lenovo actually acquired IBM's personal computer business in 2005. So,
there you go.
see, I thought it was the other way around. I thought IBM like bought out Lenovo, but it's the other way around. Lenovo bought
'Cause
out IBM.
in my mind, I have this association. ThinkPad goes to IBM, and then suddenly it's just Lenovo. Okay.
Yeah.
I
So
also have this association of ThinkPad goes with Brick, but
what do you mean ThinkPad goes with Brick? The
because
ThinkPad's
the
better.
things are quite literally bricks. Look at it; it's like a tank.
Well,
It's indestructible. That's
no,
what everybody
I thought
says
those.
about
I thought those were
I've
the
never owned one.
Panasonic Tough books that were supposed to be
I
indestructible.
just hear that they're indestructible, and that they also do kind of look like bricks.
Well, okay. When you think of a ThinkPad, the design of a ThinkPad really hasn't changed over the years. So, but that's what makes it an iconic ThinkPad. Like, okay, think about it, right? When you say ThinkPad, what do you immediately picture? I picture a black case
I
computer.
picture, yeah, it's like they're thick and they're bulky and they're, I don't know,
Yeah, that's what I picture with the acupuncture or not acupuncture. What are they?
acupuncture.
AccuTouch, eraser
Oh, yeah,
head
that.
looking thing, pointing
Huh?
device. Do you remember those?
What are you talking about?
You never played with an IBM laptop? Do you remember the little eraser head? It was like in the middle of the keyboard, right? And it was red, and it was used as a pointing device. You don't remember those?
Oh, that thing. Yeah, I know what that is. But it's not just an IBM.
No, but I think IBM
I've seen a Dell laptop with one of those too.
yeah, I think what happened was
Several Dells
Well,
with
actually-
those, actually.
not Lenovo. IBM, I think, actually came out with that, and then other companies like, oh, hey, this is kind of cool, and then they copied it.
Oh, okay. I guess that would make some sense.
as what happens with most things. So so Lenovo owns IBM now, or at least like the ThinkPad line, and so they still keep so like the business and enterprise machines are still ThinkPads, and then like the personal computers are branded as Lenovo. So
Oh, okay.
anyway.
Well, yeah, I always did have that association. You know, ThinkPad is kind of a
Well, yeah, I think
corporate.
I think it was originally built for like the corporate business, traveling businessman, business person, if we're being non-sexist, community, or not community, but
Business
that.
person.
Yeah, it was built for the corporate world basically. So, which if you think about it, around the time that IBM was making these things, like, who would have been the only people that probably could have really, in theory, purchased one? Because they weren't cheap. We're talking thousands of dollars. So, it would make sense that executives would have them because they'd have the money to go spend on these things. So,
Well, in other words, their company would purchase one for them.
yeah, actually, that makes sense.
That would probably be more what's going on.
So, and then eventually, computers and laptops got to the point where they were cheap enough for people to buy them. But I remember when I was looking at laptops, of course, I was also looking at business laptops. So, see, when I started school here in Iowa in 2006, 7, now the school that I had previously come from, because I went to school up in the Twin Cities, so the school that I was previously in was a Mac district. So we had Macs wall to wall. The only PC I'd ever interacted with up to this point really was my PC at home. So I grew up learning Mac. Well, that's really all I knew. I remember when we got our first Dell. It was a Dell Dimension 2350. IDE hard drive, like 256 gigs of RAM. I think it was either a 60 or 80 gig hard drive. Megabytes. I'm sorry.
256 gigs of RAM. That'd be something.
That would have been something, especially back then. And we got this thing in like 2000, 2001, something like that. Anyway, so I remember getting it home, and one of my like neighborhood friends, who I like knew but I didn't know super well. Anyway, her dad like worked for Dell or something like that, or AOL or something. He worked for some company that like had something to do with computers. So my mom talked to him, and anyway, so we ended up ordering this computer, right? So anyway, so I get home, right? And my only experience with computers up to this point has been with Macs. So fire the thing up, and I'm like, what the heck is this? This looks completely different. Because I'd never experienced the Windows operating system ever before. So here I am, this lost little kid, like, what the heck is this? This is an odd Mac.
See, this is what happens when I touch a Mac. I don't know what to do with it. Like,
Oh my gosh. So one of my favorite things to do to people is I did this with somebody from school the other day, is to hand them my, like, you know, have you ever used a Mac before? No. So I hand it to them. Here, find the internet. Now,
Okay, I'm not that stupid.
Well, okay.
I can find out how to click on something, thank you.
But you have to figure out where it is. See, here's the thing. So it's down in the dock, right? Because I have it pinned in the dock. But I have the dock turned on for hiding. So my dock isn't always there at the bottom. So down at the bottom, you've got this little window thing with all your pinned applications and things like that. And in order for that to come up, you have to move down to the bottom of the screen. Otherwise, it won't come up. So, of course, somebody's looking at it. They see the menu bar up the top, but they don't see anything else. So it's like, where do I click? Because there's no start button on a Mac. So, like, you know, you would click on a PC anyway. So, back to the topic at hand and why we were talking about Lenovo. So, Lenovo's X1 Carbon laptops literally have a screw loose in them. And it's posing a fire hazard.
This makes me sad, because these things are supposed to be indestructible.
Exactly.
These things are
Hey,
supposed to be
heck?
bricks that will last you for like 10 years and survive drops on the floor.
Okay, theoretically, right? Theoretically, I think we discussed this. I don't know if we discussed it on the show, but I know we discussed it in the past before, and that is that technology is only good for about 5 years before you have to upgrade it, really. Like, you can get more out of it, but you should technically only use it for about 5 years and then upgrade. So, anyway.
Well, I mean, it kind of really depends what you're doing. I mean, if it's a Facebook machine,
That's true.
yeah, 10-year-old ThinkPad, sure, it'll work.
We still have a computer fresh out of, like, the 90s that is running Windows 95
Yeah,
at
but
the
that's
TV
a lot
station.
longer than 10 years.
Hey, it still works for what we need it to do. So, legit, it's only like a control computer, basically. Like, it's used to initiate, like, something that happens on, like, another computer or something like that. So it's literally just a portal, basically. Anyway, so there's a recall on the 5th generation ThinkPad X1 Carbon laptops. And it affects laptops that were built prior to November 1st, 2017. So basically what can happen is the battery can overheat, obviously causing some problems and maybe possibly bursting into flames. I don't know if there's any confirmed cases of that actually happening. Oh yeah, no fires yet, but that hazard does exist. And this, you know, this seems to be a common theme lately.
Yeah, what's with batteries exploding?
Is it just that, like, is it just the fact that, like, the Note 7 was such a big deal that, like, now it's being brought to light? Like,
I don't think so.
okay, because I was wondering if it's like the airplane crash effect kind of thing, where, like, okay, so anytime a plane falls out of the sky, there's a huge massive crash, right? Like, everyone goes wild and things like that. And they're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to fly. You know, planes are unsafe.
It's statistically safer to fly.
It is statistically safer to fly. And here's the thing. The only reason it seems so bad is because we don't hear about it that often. So when it does, so I'm wondering if, like, that's the thing. Like, you know, oh, hey, there was a plane crash, you know, and then it's a big deal for a while, and then it dies down again. Things like that. So I'm wondering if that's, like, the same thing that's happening with batteries right now, or just battery manufacturers somehow have just, like, gotten super bad at making batteries or something. I don't know. So,
I don't know.
anyway, so if you have an affected device that was built before November 1st, what you can do, you can send it back to Lenovo or whatever. Yeah, Lenovo. Basically, what they're going to do, they're going to like inspect it and fix it. Oh, yeah. You want to know what their solution to fixing this problem is, Zach?
Please tell me they're going to replace the battery and then promptly send it back to you. Or rather, fix the problem. Oh, wait. No, I know what it is.
Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? They will remove the screw. And then theoretically put the thing back together and ship it back to you. Yeah. That's the fix. Like, okay. But yeah, so what can happen is that loose screw can damage the battery, like puncturing it and stuff like that. Remember that video that we saw a couple weeks ago, where the guy in China or Japan or wherever it was, like bit into the battery and it exploded?
Yeah, that was dumb.
It was dumb, but it's the same effect kind of thing. Is like if the battery gets punctured, all of a sudden the integrity of the battery is compromised, and it's basically just a ticking time bomb, where it could explode spontaneously and hilariously, like in the video. Like, idiot. So some 83,500 devices have been sold in the US and Canada. So theoretically, you know, that's how many devices are affected by this. But yeah, so the machines will be inspected. Any fixes that need to be done will be done. They'll remove that loose screw and then package it back up and send it back to you and say, here, everything's good to go.
I don't understand why they can't just tell you how to do it yourself, because it sounds easy.
Okay, think about this though, right? Like, to
yes,
us,
I'm sure they're obligated to do it this way and not just tell you to do it yourself. But
well, yeah, there may be some legality thing in there, maybe, or some. Well, there might be some legality thing.
But
and
ignoring all of that, it's probably not very difficult to just do it yourself. And sending your laptop in.
Hold on though. So let me say this. So yes, besides some legality things and probably some, oh goodness, what's the word I'm looking for? Liability, you know, stuff in there probably too, from somebody tinkering around with their computer and all of a sudden blowing it up. Not everyone is going to either A, have the knowledge to be able to, you know, take their computer apart, or B, want to. So for somebody like you and me,
do it.
well, yeah, but okay. See, here's the thing: for somebody like you and me who enjoy tech and we understand these things, like, just tell me how to do it. But for, you know, one of my friends, right, who is like,
yes, people are terrified of opening up their computer,
let alone figuring out how to do it. Sometimes, well, okay, opening up a PC, like the side of a case, pretty simple. Opening up a laptop, it gets a little trickier sometimes, you know. Some laptops open up from the top, some open from the bottom. So, yeah. Like, this is what
How about design a laptop that's actually easy to open?
Oh my, I don't remember which one it is, but there was, like, literally a laptop that had, like, a hood on it.
Yes.
Like
yes.
Like the keyboard, like, you,
I
like,
want this
hit a
to
button.
happen. I want this on all laptops. Just universal feature, please.
I don't remember which laptop it was, like which model. I think it was like an IBM model actually, or something like that. IBM had a lot of good ideas back in the day, it seems like. But like you'd literally hit like a couple buttons and like the whole keyboard would like pop up, and you could access like things that you needed.
It's fantastic.
It's kind of cool. Do you remember back in the day, like with old laptops too, they would actually have port doors on them? Like they'd have like a door for the hard drive and doors for the RAM and things like that. So you didn't literally have to take the entire thing apart. You could just, oh, hey, I want to upgrade the memory in this. You know, unscrew that cover and pop your new modules in and screw the door back in, call it good. Like, what happened to that? Actually, I know what happened to it. It's that mentality of everything is disposable now.
You mean that mentality of we need people to pay us to do that?
That too, yeah. I haven't really been following it, but there's like, I think, legislation going on right now in some places. I think in Iowa I've actually seen it, to like actually like pass some kind of law that actually makes it like okay for people to actually fix their own devices or something like that. It has something to do with that. Instead of having to pay outrageous prices to have, you know,
Good.
Companies
Please,
fix your devices.
Not only that, but not in addition to the money, you're stuck without your device for who knows how long.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. See, okay, so here's the thing. Like, you know, as part of Tech Beam Media, I would love to offer, like, a tech repair service. So here would be my mentality. If somebody ever came in with, like, you know, a device or something like that that was broken but still functional, I would... And you can let me know what you think about this business model here. But, like, let's say somebody comes in with a cracked iPhone screen or something like that. Why I picked an iPhone, I don't know. It's the first thing that came to mind. Although, okay, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Pretty much every time you see somebody with an iPhone, the screen's always cracked. Am I wrong?
No.
So...
You're not wrong.
Anyway, so my philosophy would be this. Bring it in. We'll order what we need. You get to hang on to your device until it comes in. Then when it comes in, we'll swap it out, send you on your way. I don't know, what do you think? See, because here's my philosophy. I hate being without my device.
So do I.
I remember when I was still in school, we had like a virus on our, like, this was our old Dell computer that we had, but we got like a virus or something on it. And so my mom called this guy who like did computer repair on the side and everything. He was actually a pretty cool dude. But he took the computer for like a week or something like that. And I was like, I was like freaking out because like I didn't play video games or anything like that. And so the computer was pretty much my only like form of entertainment. I didn't have it. Which, okay, in retrospect is really sad because there's other things that I could have been doing, but still. It was like the classic like teenage, I don't have my phone, the world's going to end thing. So, anyway. No, I still love Lenovo's fix to this whole problem, though, is, oh yeah, send it back, we'll take a screw out, and we'll literally, we're gonna take a screw out, send it back to you. Like, okay. I don't know. I guess I don't know, where do you stand on this? See, like, for me, it's just like, really? That's your solution? Instead of, like, figuring out, like, a better fix, your fix is to just take that screw out. Like, I feel like that's, to me, that seems lazy, kind of. I don't know.
But what if it's actually legit, though?
What do you mean, like, actually legit?
Well, what if that fix is actually the answer? There is no other answer. What if that's the answer?
I'm not saying that it might not be the answer, but, like, if that's what the problem is that, like, the screw is loose, then, okay, in retrospect, you've already got a finished product, I guess. But, like, it seems like there should be a way for them to figure out how to secure that screw instead of just saying, oh, well, we're just going to take it out. I don't know. That's just what I think. Like, when I read that...
More an oversight and even letting that happen.
And maybe that's what I'm more irritated about with this whole thing here. But it's just like, when I read that, I was like, okay, so what's the fix? Really? Really? That's the fix? Really? Like, that was what my thought process was. Like, I was, like, actually irritated. I was like, come on, Lenovo, you guys can try a little bit harder. So.
If you don't have to try harder, why?
Because it's the right thing to do?
But if all you have to do is screw the thing in and then there's no more hazard, then...
No, they're not screwing it in.
Well,
they're literally removing the problem.
Yeah, no more problem. Good to go.
Yeah,
Great.
but they're removing the problem and not fixing the problem.
Well, if the screw wasn't doing anything, then what's the problem?
Okay, but see, here's the thing.
removing
When
it.
you put a screw in, generally you put a screw in there for a reason, to hold things together. Generally.
It'll be fine.
I don't know. To me, it just seems lazy. I might be wrong, but to me, it seems lazy. So, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, moving on. Moving on. You're going to like this. I like this. It just needs to happen faster. NVIDIA is working really, really, really hard to increase supply of graphics cards.
Except for the part where if they do, they're just going to immediately get bought up by miners anyway?
No! Actually, so NVIDIA, as we talked about a few weeks ago, gamers are supposed to be more quote-unquote loyal.
Better customer. They're better for business is what they think.
And NVIDIA agrees with this. So, NVIDIA is like, hey, we don't like the fact that gamers are snatching up all the cards. We want the cards to go to gamers. Or miners, I mean miners, yeah.
Cards.
We want the cards to go to miners. So, anyway, they're taking a two-pronged approach to tackling the issue. So NVIDIA is seeing the same trends in the graphics card market everyone else is seeing. Increased demand driven by cryptocurrency miners, and the company is taking a two-pronged approach to tackling this issue. NVIDIA executives said on Thursday during an earnings call with investors. So, anyway, so NVIDIA sees that there's a problem here, right? So they want to fix this problem.
There is a problem.
Yeah, so for the 3-month period ending January 28, 2018, the fourth quarter of NVIDIA's 2018 fiscal year, the company reported record revenues of $2.91 billion. Man, I'd love to have that kind of money. You know how many graphics cards we could buy for that much money?
I bet NVIDIA knows. They make the things.
So that includes $2.46 billion from NVIDIA's GPU business, a year-over-year increase of 33%. That was led by growth in the gaming and data center markets. Now, NVIDIA cited strong growth for its Pascal-based GeForce gaming GPUs that was driven by new games, holiday season demand, iCafe upgrades, esports, and cryptocurrency mining. The all-important cryptocurrency mining. Strong demand in the cryptocurrency market exceeded our expectations.
You know, here's what I think it'd be funny if they just literally purposefully gimped these cards for mining, just so nobody would use them for mining.
Okay.
It'd be dumb for them to do that, but I think it'd be funny if they did.
It would be funny, but okay, is there a way to... How do you control that, I guess?
Well, here's the problem, is that no, there really isn't, because the reason they're so good at it is because this workload is so similar to what you're asking your card to do when it runs a game. You're asking the card to do something very similar. So they can't just say, well, if this person is mining, run very slowly. Well, no, that's not how it is.
Yeah, because I don't think that the GPU can't actually, like, determine that, can it?
It's not able to determine what it's being asked to do. It just crunches numbers when you tell it to.
It's just like, here, do this. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah, so strong demand in the cryptocurrency market exceeded their expectations, said Colette Kress. He's the executive vice president and chief financial officer at NVIDIA during the earnings call. Now, Kress added that cryptocurrency accounted for a higher percentage of revenue than the previous quarter, although she said the increase is difficult to quantify. So, NVIDIA isn't counting on that business, however. See, now we come back to the whole gamers thing, where gamers are more loyal. Because, in theory, what will happen is something else will come out that's better at crunching numbers or figuring out the algorithms that need to be calculated in order for better mining. And then when that happens, or new cards come out, things like that, then the market is flooded with, cards that these miners don't want anymore because they're like, yeah. And in theory, the idea is a gamer is going to keep the card along for a lot longer. And then when they need a new card, they're more likely to go back to the company that they bought it from. So, now, in the case of you, Zach, you just simply are going to go with what's the best at that point in time.
Sure.
So, which I'm sure some people's, there are other people out there that have that same mentality, but you definitely have fanboys, fangirls who are, yep, this is what works, and I am totally team green and not team red. So, everyone's entitled to their own opinions, I guess. So,
I think that's dumb. Why buy a worse product just because it has your favorite brand name on it?
Why do people buy Macs?
Yeah, that's a worse product too.
So, our main focus remains on our core market, as cryptocurrency will likely remain volatile, said Kress, adding that NVIDIA expects revenue for the cryptocurrency segment to be flat for the first quarter of its 2019 fiscal year. And because miners continue to snatch up graphics cards, gamers remain frustrated at their inability to find reasonably priced GPUs. I think you can agree with that statement, can't you, Zach?
What? You don't like paying 3 times MSRP?
No. Oh, wait, yeah, I do. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think anyone does. That's a fairly sizable pent-up demand going into this quarter, said NVIDIA CEO and President Jensen Huang. Why do I do this to myself every week? I should make you, pronounce these names for me. Even though
Who
I know
says I can do it any better?
That's the point. At least if we're both doing it, then we both sound like idiots, and then we move on. So this is something that I thought was interesting, though, is that retailers are apparently the ones setting prices for GPUs amid the ongoing shortage, and confirmed that the company is asking retailers to focus on gamers instead of miners. I don't know. What do you think about that?
Nothing wrong with that.
So, we're working really hard to get GPUs out into the marketplace for the gamers. And we're doing everything we can to advise e-tailers and system builders to serve the gamers. Now, you mentioned this. Micro Center is already taking unusual measures. They're offering bundled pricing for customers buying components for a full PC build, which we may have to look into when I build mine. For its part, NVIDIA, like its primary competitor AMD, is making an effort to increase supply and meet the demand. The CEO of NVIDIA praised the company's suppliers, but sidestepped a question asking whether NVIDIA's production process was hamstrung by shortages of particular components, such as GDDR5 and HBM2 memory. So, that could be... Well, okay, so if there's a shortage of that, then that is going to mean that it's going to take longer to produce cards, because they need those components to produce the cards. And if miners are buying them faster than the companies can produce them, then you have a shortage. So, and the prices go up, which I'm sure is, well, yeah, that's what's happened. So, anyway. Yay. But at least, okay, this is at least what NVIDIA has going for them right now. They realize that there's a problem. They're trying to do something about it, which is good. And I'm sure in some way this is a little bit of doing some good PR so that hopefully, gamers will come to them, maybe. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I think that I'll be happy if I ever see some real effects from these things that they're trying to do.
Well, at some point, as we talked about last week, Samsung's working on some new chip kind of thing that's supposed to be used for doing cryptocurrency mining. So moving forward in the future, maybe we'll see more stuff like that. And
yeah, that would be nice.
And then that will free up the GPU market. So anyway,
all these dumb miners can buy those instead of GPUs.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, time for Microsoft news now. Microsoft didn't really do anything super interesting this week. But Microsoft, well, okay. Let me ask you, in terms of cloud services, now see, here's the thing. This doesn't really affect us as consumers, which we'll talk about in a second. But when we talk about cloud services, cloud storage services, you have Dropbox, there's Box, Google Drive. Oh, and what's that other one that exists but nobody actually really kind of uses? Oh yeah, that's right, OneDrive.
Oh yeah, right.
So when you get a new like PC now with Windows 10, it like
they love to try to push that OneDrive trash on me.
Right? Oh, and then I love how you open up the folder, right? And there's a document in there that says "Getting started with OneDrive." Somebody should bring.
Getting started, more like uninstalling it.
I was just gonna say, getting started with OneDrive. All right, hang on. Okay. How to get started with OneDrive. Step 1: uninstall OneDrive.
Remove it.
Step 2: install something else. So, anyway, Microsoft is now trying to poach Dropbox and Google customers with free OneDrive deal. So, now, here's the thing. And we can talk about this here. So, they're trying to get businesses. Like, this only applies to, like, corporate businesses. So the deal is only valid for businesses that are not currently customers and are willing to commit to a 500 user minimum.
Oh no. That's a lot.
Minimum. So, when I read this, right? Like, if they're trying to get people to... Obviously, they're trying to appeal to a large market, right? So, I think what their plan is to... Okay, so Microsoft does have some things going for them, right? It's like Adobe products, right? You have the continuity between After Effects, Adobe Premiere, and Photoshop, and Illustrator, things like that. So I can create a project in Photoshop with a bunch of different layers, save it as a Photoshop document, and literally import that directly into After Effects or Premiere Pro. Or with a little bit of modification, I can import it into Illustrator. It's just the continuity. It's fluid between all the programs. Things just work. And so one thing that I think Microsoft has going for it is they have Microsoft Office, which is now starting to move portions of it to the cloud. You still have your desktop apps as well, right? So combining that with the OneDrive service for storage, right? So I think what Microsoft's idea here is that if they can get a large company to use Microsoft services, right, to switch over to OneDrive for storage needs, that with that and the integration between Office and things like that, which is pretty much everywhere, especially in big, corporate businesses and things like that, that they will then retain those users when it comes time for those companies to actually have to pay for the service. I don't know. What do you think? Did I lose you? I may have lost Zach.
Huh?
Okay. How much of that did you hear?
I didn't hear anything for like 10 seconds there.
Okay, did you hear my whole spiel on why I think this might possibly work?
Huh?
Are you having issues this week?
Oh?
Okay. Did you hear my whole spiel on
Kinda,
why
yeah.
this might work? Okay, so what I was asking is what are your thoughts on this?
I don't have any. I don't use cloud storage.
I thought you used Google Cloud Storage. But that's not my point. What I was saying...
Okay, but that's like the most basic cloud storage you can get.
Yeah, kind of. Okay. So synopsis real quick here is what I was saying is that by offering the service free, right, they're hoping that the integration between Office and OneDrive is going to be enough to, at least this is what I think, is going to be enough to retain those customers when it comes time for the renewal process, where they actually have to pay.
Silly. I don't know. Why? Is it really that hard to just upload a file to whatever service you like?
Well, okay, but just like with Google Drive, you have the collaboration services now. At least I think you do with, like, you know, Word or with Office Online now. Not to mention then you have your email service through them as well, and other things like that. So the idea is that, you know, think about it. Most companies are already using Office, right? So why not just bundle in the storage too with it, instead of using things like Dropbox and things like that? I think that's what Microsoft's idea is.
I'm still not going to use it.
Yeah, okay, and that's the other thing to talk about on this as well is, okay, so Microsoft obviously is trying to go after the big fish here, which is big companies. By the way, this deal remains active until June 30th, 2018. But they're setting that threshold of how many users you need for a minimum at 500. So I guess the thing is here is that, like, if they're wanting people to use the service, then wouldn't you think they would offer it to everyone then? I don't, well, okay, I'm sure I think there is like a free, yeah, there's a free option, but it's not like a ton of storage. You know what? In fact, Google happens to be the cloud storage service that I've seen that has the most amount of storage. Do you know what the base storage for Google is that you get free?
No.
In Google Drive? It's 15 gigs.
That's all right, I suppose.
15 gigs. You know what, like, Dropbox is?
Probably almost nothing.
Yeah, it's like 2. It's like 2 gigs.
Oof.
I don't know what, like, OneDrive is set at or what Box is set at. I think Box might be like 5. I think. Don't quote me on that. Anyway. But, so I guess Microsoft does have their free option out there for, you know, people. But if the idea is to get more people to come over to the Microsoft experience, you think that they would open up this to, you know, kind of sort of everyone instead of just big corporate companies that, you know, have 500 users at a minimum instead of coming over. I don't know. And here's the other problem with this too is, you know, okay, so they are going to offer migration services to help migrate you from your old cloud service to your other clouds to this. The other thing is they're going to waive the bill until a business pays off its existing contract with the company that they were previously in a contract with, up to 3 years. So let's say company XYZ has a contract with, say, Dropbox for 2 years. Well, Microsoft will say, okay, we won't charge you for 2 years. And then at the end of those 2 years, then they'll start charging them. So, I don't know. I think there has to be more, though, more incentive than just, hey, you know, you got 500 users, come over to us. We'll give you free storage and the, you know, flexibility of being able to integrate it into the whole Microsoft cloud thing too, I guess.
I am not a company, so I don't know how companies think.
I don't either. Well, companies generally, I think, for the most part, think, not all, but most, where can we save the most amount of money? So, but that's the other thing too. If something works, then why change it? So, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, I just think this whole idea is like, they need to do something more impressive. And again, this is another perfect example of Microsoft being behind and now trying to play catch up, I think. Sound about right?
I suppose.
So, anyway.
I don't know.
So, yeah, so that's what Microsoft did this week. Okay, something you can make fun of now-ish. Apple! So their iBoot code has been leaked on GitHub. Well, it was. It's not there anymore. So the code was posted on GitHub on February 7th. And the code has now been removed after Apple sent them a DMC, which is a Digital Millennium Copyright Act takedown request.
Except for the part where it's on the internet, so, well, good luck getting rid of it.
Yeah,
it's
so
there forever now.
It's no longer on GitHub anymore. Well, actually, I take that back.
Yeah, that's probably correct, but
there are copies that are still around
now.
for now, as of the writing of this. Whether they're still there or not, I don't know. Oh, and here's the thing. Even before this all blew up, the code has actually been out for, I think, at least 6 months.
Really? Wow.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no, wait. I take that back. The hack has been floating around the internet for about a year. It was first posted on Reddit.
Wow.
So, now, one of the provisions of Apple sending the DMC was that they basically had to verify that the code was their property. So, by doing that, it meant that, yes, this is legitimate code. So, now Apple responded pretty quickly to this because it was only available for a couple hours before it was then taken down. Quote unquote, taken down. But, okay. This is one thing. It's highly unlikely that the source, like the source code, will provide anyone with a way to actually exploit anything in the operating system. Now, Apple also says, Apple itself seems uncensored about the potential security issues, with the company noting in a statement that the code is already 3 years old and that the security of our product doesn't depend on the security of our source code. Now, do with that information what you want. So, anyway. But this is where it gets more interesting. So, it's reported that an intern for Apple was actually the one who leaked the code.
What?
Uh-huh. Yep. So a report from Motherboard reveals that the code was originally leaked by a former Apple intern.
Huh.
So, and what happened is that he stole the code to help his friends, a group of 5 friends, that are in the iOS jailbreaking community, circumvent Apple's lockdown mobile operating system. So, Anyway, so he provided the code to them. I was like, here, have this. Reverse engineer it, basically. Do with it what you want. Now, as most of these things usually go, right, there was an agreement that was, I'm sure this is a verbal agreement. There was an agreement, however, that the code was supposed to stay within the group. Clearly, that didn't happen. So, now it's out on the internet.
Yeah, that's a given.
Now, he also took all sorts of Apple internal tools and whatnot from Apple as well. What he did with those, I have no idea. But yeah, so the original plan was for that code never to leave the 5 friends. Again, clearly, that didn't happen. But here's the other thing. Now, Apple claims that they already knew that the code was floating around out there. Whether they actually did or not, I don't know. You think just maybe good PR?
I don't know. I mean, it just makes me wonder why they wouldn't have done anything about it if they knew.
Maybe they just didn't want to, like, draw a bunch of attention to it? That's a possibility. I don't know.
Maybe it was floating around in places where they can't really stop it.
Well, it's on the internet, so...
Well, I should say parts of the internet that will not care if you send a DMCA takedown notice.
Oh, so like the dark web. So yeah. So yeah, so February 7th, that's when it was leaked. Motherboard reported that the code from the security boot up portion of Apple's iOS mobile operating system, or that it was part of that, that is referred to as iBoot. So it was posted on GitHub. Code has since been removed because Apple sent the DMC out. We talked about it floating around the internet for about a year. Yeah, okay, so here's the thing. So if Apple knew about it for a good year, then yeah, why didn't they do anything about it? Even discreetly, you think they could have done something about it. So, okay, so I'm calling bull on that. I don't think Apple actually knew that the code was out. So, maybe they did, like, before it hit GitHub, but, see, I don't know. I don't know.
Could be either or, really.
So it first appeared on Reddit, and it may still have implications for Apple mobile device security, specifically an asset, to those trying to create exploit software to jailbreak or otherwise bypass Apple's security hardening of iPhone and iPad devices. I don't know. You feel, I'm sure you feel somewhat strongly about this, and that is you feel that you should have the right, at least I think you do, that you should have the right to be able to do what you want with your device.
Right to jailbreak your phone? Yeah, I agree.
Apple doesn't see it that way. They're like, no.
Of course.
In fact, it violates their terms of service if you do. But that's a different, fact. Oh, I'm sorry, DMCA. That's the official title for the Digital Millennium Copyright Act thing. Anyway, this goes on to basically blah, 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 but basically Apple is saying that the code is 3 years old. People shouldn't worry too much about it. So, anyway. I don't know, though. It would be interesting to see if this code actually opens up a way to actually... Well, because you can already jailbreak your phone, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, we clearly have no idea how Microsoft Cloud services work. No, we don't, because we don't use them.
Nope. Don't use it. I have never touched OneDrive. It's just an annoying, stupid pop-up to me.
Let's see. Dark Lord Morgoth, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, says hello. Jim James. All right. Apparently he thinks you're somewhat competent. And apparently I have no idea what I'm talking about. I'm not going to deny that I don't know how Microsoft Cloud Services work, because I don't use them. So, yeah. Like, there's nothing else I can say about that. To a certain degree, I'm sure that they all collaborate together somehow. I'm sure I'm probably right on that. But maybe I'm not. I don't know. Anyway. Oh. See, this is where I wish I could reverse engineer, or find flaws in things, because Apple's got a bug bounty program that offers $200,000 to researchers who discover iOS boot firmware vulnerabilities. That's a nice chunk of change there.
Well, that's how confident they are that there aren't any, I suppose. I'm sure there is, but...
Well, I'm sure there is, so...
no one's found it yet.
Yet. Although, remember the whole Spectre meltdown thing, you know?
Yeah, but that's not Apple.
Well, no, it's not Apple, but what I'm saying, the concept of it is, all these device manufacturers, for years were everything is, fine, and then all of a sudden this huge thing comes up, and they're all like, oh, yeah, we gotta figure out how to fix this. So, I don't know, is Apple too confident? I don't know.
I mean, $200,000 is probably pocket change to them anyway.
Oh, I'm sure. They own, Shazam and, Beats and things like that. Anyway. So, yeah, I'm sure they're not hurting for money and things like that.
$200,000, paying that much money for knowledge of a vulnerability in their boot code would actually, that's probably a great deal to them. They would love to pay that much money for a vulnerability like that, because it means they can...
You cut out. It means that what?
Because it means they can fix it.
Well, yeah, that's the idea behind it. Let's see here. You know what? We've got time for one more quick story here. This is another Apple-related story, but it's something that you can make fun of. Hold on. Oh my goodness. I have something to say about these in a second. Hold on. Sometimes having two monitors is actually a curse. And it's oh, okay, I've got things spread out way too much between two different screens. There you go. There's a graphic that relates to what we're going to be talking about, and that graphic will come up on the screen here in a moment. Oh, shoot. I just closed the article. I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so as we talked about before, and this seems to be a trend right now, things exploding. Like the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. And you remember a while back we talked about some person in the UK's phone exploding?
No, I don't think I do.
Their iPhone was spontaneously bursted into flames. Do you remember the video about the smart spinner that caught on fire?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. That was dumb.
Let's see, what else?
It was one of those dumb fidget spinner things, right?
Yeah, with Bluetooth built into it.
That's such a... What a joke. Yeah, we have a fidget spinner with Bluetooth.
Dude, that was a huge fad. Now it's gone.
Oh, I know it was. Don't worry. I don't live under a rock.
You don't?
But seriously, it was a dumb fad. It was a dumb fad.
You don't live under a rock? Because I never really see you come out.
Oh, don't give me that.
You had to know that was coming somewhere in there. Anyway, okay. So lithium-ion batteries can be volatile. So after all, the Samsung Galaxy Note 7 was, withdrawn twice. because too many of them kept blowing up. Yeah. So, a man in Tampa Bay, Florida offers a story of smartphone accessories that might worry some now. Okay? He says one of his AirPods blew apart while he was at the gym.
Oh, no. Also, that's funny.
Oh, my, this weird-looking toothbrush thing that's in my ear is,
On fire.
Well, I don't know if it was actually on fire, but it started smoking.
That.
It started smoking. Anyway, so Jason Colon, this is the guy who had this happen to him. He was at this gets a little tricky here. He was at an LA fitness club in St. Petersburg, Florida. I was really confused because I was like, wait, I thought he was in Florida, but the place is called LA Fitness. Anyway, so, as he was listening to some dance music, okay, that's besides the point. Suddenly he said he noticed smoke. Okay? It was coming from the area of his right ear. More specifically, the smoke was being emitted from one of his AirPods. So he says that he immediately put both AirPods on a piece of workout equipment and walked away. By the time he came back, the smoking AirPod appeared to have completely burst apart. But, okay, so here's the thing. He says he didn't see it happen, so...
Well, I mean, if it's torn to pieces, yeah, it probably did happen.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I don't know how else it's just gonna fall apart, right?
Okay, so he says, I
They're
didn't
not
see it
that
happen.
horribly built, are they?
And knowing Apple, probably not. They actually do try to put some pride into their stuff and make it look pretty. But yeah, so he says, I didn't see it happen, but I mean, it was already fried. You can see flame damage, and he actually offered an image of the disintegrated headphone, which is my cue to go ahead and hit the correct buttons here to make it pop up on the screen. There we go. So if you're looking at the picture now, so you can see he's got one of them that's still intact, and then the other one is literally like in pieces. So like you can see the top little part that goes into the ear, and then the rest of it is
something I want to have in my ear.
No,
honestly,
exactly. And then you can see the other part of it, like the whole bottom like part that sticks out of your ear is like completely gone. Like completely gone. So, yeah.
That's probably where the battery is.
You know what? I'm not quite sure. I'm sure there's got to be some circuitry down in there. So, let's see. Apple didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. The usual procedure, however, is for Cupertino, whatever the heck that is, to examine any device that might have suffered a dangerous malfunction. We're not aware of any previous explosions or even disintegrations involving AirPods. This is the first I've ever heard of this. But last March, however... So last March, an Australian Transport Safety Bureau issued a warning after a woman's wireless headphones did explode. Left her with burns on her face. In that case, the Bureau believed that the battery was to blame. See, we come back to the whole battery thing again. Why are batteries all of a sudden spontaneously igniting? Like, this has just been a trend within the recent years. Like, recent year, actually.
It is kind of strange, I'll say that.
Right?
All these batteries exploding. Odd.
Right?
Note 7s, iPhones, AirPods, Lenovo laptops. I don't know.
Again, I wonder if it's like the plane crash effect kind of thing, though, too. Where Note 7 was such a big deal, now that every time
I don't think so.
Something blows up, like, people are looking for it. Or, like I said before, maybe batteries are just getting, manufactured worse and worse. More demand, less quality assurance being done. That's a possibility. Anyway, the thing is about the AirPods, though, they are small batteries inside them. But that doesn't mean that one of them exploded in this case. Now, even Cologne acknowledges he's not actually sure what happened. He said, after all, he wasn't there to witness it. But until the company examines the product and determines what happened, we're not going to know either way. So, anyway. Now, as far as Cologne, he says, I don't know what would have happened to my ear, but I'm sure since it hangs down, it could have been, it could have been bad, basically. So, anyway. Yeah, just a fun little kind of, I know you love making fun of Apple story to end the show this week. So, anyway. So, there you go. Apparently Apple's working on smart glasses too. Yeah. So, I'm curious to know what you think about that. Not the fact that Apple's making them.
What is? I don't know. I don't. I don't even know. I don't have anything to say about smart glasses because I've never done any research into them. The Google Glasses was a thing, and now it's not a thing anymore, and that's about it. That's
okay,
all I know about.
So my whole from TV and growing up, my whole premise of smart glasses is glasses that have a computer screen built into them.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty much it, right?
I think I'm not quite sure. So anyway, so not the fact that Apple is working on it, but just the idea in general. Cool idea, bad idea, don't care, kind of intrigued.
Make it do something I want, then it'll be cool.
So you can sit there in class with glasses on and game?
No, that'd be silly. How are you supposed to control anything? You're not going to control anything with your eyeballs, are you?
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, if anything, it's more like some kind of, I guess, discount VR, or maybe just augmented reality kind of thing. I don't know. Is it only good for checking Facebook? Maybe. I have no idea. Well, then again, how are you supposed to control this? Well, yeah, how are you supposed to control this thing? I don't know.
Okay, now you've got me intrigued. I did not actually open the article. Oh, come on. Hang on. Now you've got me intrigued.
How does one control a pair of smart glasses?
I don't...
What, do you have to carry around a remote? Do you use your phone? Obviously, you don't use your eyeballs.
Okay, maybe your phone. That might make sense, actually.
Well, then wait. But if you have to pull out your phone, then what's the point?
Well, okay, what is a smartwatch? I mean,
yeah, I
you
ask
still have to
myself
have your
the
phone.
same question when I talk about smartwatches. What's the point of this if I have to pull out my phone to do most of the things that I would want this thing to be able to do?
Okay, so it looks like it might fall along the lines of augmented reality.
Yeah, it probably will.
Let's see. Tim Cook has broadly hinted at the company's ambitions to deliver a head-mounted display or smart glasses device at some point in the future. Okay, so it looks like that actually is... Okay, so it looks like this is going to be VR stuff. I think that's where they're going with this.
Okay.
Not the whole, computer thing. I could be wrong about that, but Apple proposes its device use what's called a... Oh, wait, okay, hang on, I'm missing something here. Okay, to deliver head-mounted display or smart glasses devices at some point in the future. More recently, Cook said that the technology itself doesn't exist to make augmented reality goggles at the level of quality Apple desires, suggesting the company may be hard at work rethinking conventional... Yeah, I think this is going to be VR stuff.
Interesting.
But you're right, yeah. Like the idea of the like a computer built into your glasses. Yeah, how do you control that? I'm not quite sure.
Well,
So
hope they come up with something. Otherwise,
this makes more sense. This whole idea of augmented reality into glasses and things like that. Like that makes more sense. That's kind of what like the next big kind of thing that like I think companies are starting to tackle now. Is the VR.
or
stuff.
maybe I think they should tackle VR first, because well, they've already started to push the VR craze.
They've kind of worked on it. I think, haven't they?
Well, I mean, the other thing is that a lot of the solutions that they come up with are going to overlap.
Yeah, that's true too, possibly. So, anyway, all right. I really don't have anything else for this week. Do you?
No.
All right. With that said, then, so let's go ahead and end this episode of the Ram Show. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, you can see in the comments. Well, I can at least. Yeah, we don't always know about everything that we're talking about. Just gonna put that out there again. If we get something wrong, then let us know. But what we want here is a community that is a positive community. We don't want negativeness around. So I'm just gonna put that out there. With that being said, I'm going to end this episode of The Ram Show. Thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next week. If you liked, thumbs up, didn't, thumbs down. Comment below if it's more complicated than that, and we'll see all of you next week. Bye.